Surprising, disturbing. Those are the words lawmakers used in reaction to last night's 10 Investigates report. Our team uncovered parole officers assigned to sit in the parking lot of an empty building. Here's Chief Investigative Reporter Bennett Haverly with a follow-up to his findings.
For more than 3 weeks, 10 Investigates watched parole officers sit, smoke, and circle the lot outside this empty building. It's slated to become the new headquarters for the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction and the Department of Youth Services. The officers were assigned to sit here after the Department of Correction told ex-prisoners that starting around October 1st, they were to report here to check in with their parole officers. There was just one problem. The building was empty. Construction delays and plumbing issues have delayed the move-in date. And despite a sign apologizing for the inconvenience and telling parolees to go back to the Broad Street location, officers were still assigned to sit here just in case someone showed up.
The last thing they want to do is to sit in a parking lot and waste state taxpayer dollars when something easier could have been done. A notification system, email, text message.
Anthony Caldwell represents the union for the parole officers. He says assigning them to the parking lot was a mistake.
Anything would have been better than having 2 full-time senior parole officers sitting for hours in a state vehicle burning state gas at state taxpayers' expense when they could have been in the community supervising the folks that they're supposed to supervise.
We hear often that you guys are overwhelmed, have a lot of work to do. There's a lot of responsibility involved in the work that you do. Is this the best use of your time?
Well, it's necessary. We had to change plans and we had to have somebody out here to cover that little detail, so that's why we're out here. Are we busy? Sure, everyone is.
Busy may be an understatement. Currently, there are 455 parole officers assigned to cover 37,000 ex-prisoners under post-release supervision.
If that happened, then I do find that disturbing. I mean, we can't operate like that as a state, and we'll be reaching out to them to try to find out what happened.
Yes, it is surprising to me because these numbers right here, if we've learned anything in terms of the tragedy, which started, unfortunately, with Reagan Tokes and subsequent cases you talked about, is we need to make sure our parole officers are watching these people much more closely, to say the least.
State lawmakers Jim Hughes and Kevin Bacon are co-sponsoring the Reagan Tokes Act. The bill calls for drastically changing how violent felons are sentenced and how they're watched once they're released. It came about after the 2017 case of Ohio State student Reagan Tokes. Her rape, kidnapping, and murder occurred at the hands of an ex-felon who committed the crimes while wearing an ankle monitor, but he wasn't closely watched. Since that time, the deaths of 2 other women have raised questions about how well these ex-felons are monitored.
Why do you have people sitting and wasting, I guess, their time out there when it should be used better to watch these people on the streets and make sure the public is safe?
In Columbus, Bennett Haverly, 10 Investigates.